Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Charlie, and this is Floodland, a game that we checked out a couple months ago, I think, on a stream really quickly, and it was okay. We kind of checked out the demo. It was like, okay, maybe this will vibe well. I don't know if it's really fleshed out all that much. But Raven's Court and VileMonarch, the developers and publishers of the game, they happen to think that this new version is really great, okay? So much so that they have sponsored this video for me to come out and play it for you guys to show you. They have fixes for most player complaints, almost all of them, I guess. 8 new major clans, new starting locations, new world building notes that actually matter towards your civilization progressing and stuff. They got new events. Mushroom Picker's Hut is a thing now. Apparently that was a thing that was needed. If you want to learn more about the game, you can check out the link in the description of this video and learn all you can about it, okay? But this is a post-apocalyptic city builder that there's some Frostpunk vibes here. There's some Surviving the Aftermath vibes here. But there is enough differentiation for sure to warrant it being its own game. And so we're definitely going to take a look at it. When you're choosing different clans in this game, they each have their own worldview, and some of them are similar to others, some of them are compatible, and some of them are not compatible to others. And so you can look through them and you can see, for example, there's Old World Liberty, there's Old World Unity, New World Liberty, New World Unity, and each of them have sort of a description that kind of goes along with that. And you can see that 2 of these have the same, and then this one has New World Liberty, New Old World Unity, Old World Liberty. So there looks like there's 4 different types of like sort of ideologies that you can go through here. And your challenge in this game is to be first to survive this apocalypse and rebuild civilization, but also to balance the different worldviews and sort of like the different ideologies and the ways that people want to live, right? So there's a little bit of politics involved in it too in that way. So we can take a look at some of these clans if you'd like to. I can scrub through them. You can read them at your leisure if you'd like to by simply pausing the video and reading them. We are going to go with one called Radiant Future for my particular playthrough, but you can choose whatever you want to choose. So for Radiant Future, let's just read it. And it says, in a way, it can be said that members of the Radiant Future heard once that the time after the event, I assume the event is when the world ended, is a new beginning, and took this literally. Those who survived the Great Flood can only look to the future, because the past is water, destruction, and death. The Radiant Future believe that they can build a better world by using the experiences of past generations wisely and with caution. All that matters are the days to come, and that they are worth fighting for. So this civilization here sees the old world's mistakes as the reason it fell. And so, of course, they are going to attempt to do things a little bit differently, and that does not mean freedom. No, in fact, it means recognizing science and rational thinking, along with order and security to improve the world through hard work, strong leadership, and well-defined rules. So these are, I don't want to say authoritarian per se, but they're definitely not compatible with an ideology that is more like Old World Liberty, for example, which has more freedom, decentralization, and has customs that are sort of based on the moral and well-functioning society. At least that's what it says. But they're similar. Decentralization is similar to old day movements is what it says. So there's going to be certain clans that we're going to get along with, and there's going to be certain clans that we will not get along with. Now, each leader has their own traits that they bring into the game for you to play with, and also the clan itself has a trait as well. So let's take a look at ours. It says that he is a nomad, expands the range of buildings that collect resources within an area. So fishing docks, logging huts, foragers' huts, and sorting huts, and their upgrades will have their range increased by 66%, is what it says. So they can get more, right? And that's pretty good. It means we'll need less of them in a certain area, which is cool. And we also get rigorous drill. It adds 1 to the level of discipline, the specialization for this clan. So each clan, you get to choose what it is, but you go down certain specializations, and so that's how you kind of balance your civilization and get the best of all worlds, is because you have certain viewpoints, certain clans that are going to be good at some things and certain clans that are good at other things, and you kind of get to drive that, and you can kind of manipulate it. Let's take a look at what it is. Before we get started, though, I'm going to disable the prologue, and we're not going to go with tutorial because I'll walk you through some of it if I can. For facing a changing or challenging world, this is a good place to start, but I think my experience in these types of survival games warrants a little bit more of a challenge. Even though the specific mechanics of this game hasn't been fully explored by me before, I would like a challenge. I like to do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add struggle for survival on these 3. We're going to leave the resources over here just so I have access to more, but I am also going to be dealing with more disease intensity. My mood of my community is going to be more radically affected by decisions I make, and also the primary products that we're all consuming will be increased. And so I have access to roughly the same number of resources on the map that would normally exist, but I'm going to be using more of them. Okay, I like that balance for me. Let's go.
When I was 15, I buried my sister with my own hands. Some think the event was the cause, but it all began long before. I remember the times of confusion and strife. I heard the silence that drowned the screams. The event, it was simply the final blow. Some say those in charge failed us. Others, that we are all to blame. But we dwell too much on what's behind. I say, let's focus on what lies ahead. And ahead, I see hard-working hands building houses. I see strong backs carrying food. And smiles. The smiles that greet newcomers. I cried when my sister died. And now we mourn our friend as she is taken by the water. But tomorrow, I don't fear tomorrow I'll be crying, because I know if we make it, we can all sit back and laugh.
So they don't specifically say what the event is. They imply that it's man-made. So like we must have done it to ourselves. Maybe it's nuclear war or something. I don't know. But it's not like something like, a meteor hit the world or anything. So maybe we'll learn as we go what the event actually was. So we start with two small storages, and there are 10 people working there. We also have some homeless. If we take a look at our district manager, we currently have 25 homeless out of 30, which means they must have a home somewhere starting us out. And it could be a ruined house somewhere. It could be any number of things, but 5 people apparently have a house somewhere. So we'll take a look at that. So we have a ruined house. We're going to want to investigate a lot of these things. And we can investigate these and gain resources. So wood, rubbish, these are things we need to build things, of course. We're going to have medications. And then there are also 2 other very important things we want to keep looking for as much as we can. Old world relics are things like electronics, machines, blueprints, schematics, etc. And these things help us reclaim some forgotten knowledge. In other words, this is going to help us gain research points, all right? Research points we can put into unlocking new texts, new buildings, etc. There is also things they call textbooks. I would prefer they label these things as just texts, but you get these from literal textbooks. Also, DIY, research papers, and even newspapers count as textbooks for us, and we can use these to study the old world and help us choose specializations, which is going to be very important for us to develop as we go. I'm going to start things off by exploring an area around us. We can do this kind of intuitively. I like it. If we go nearby in an area we've already explored, we can scavenge things that we already know about. So that's this stuff like this. If we go in a place we haven't explored yet, the circle will get wider, the icon will change, and this becomes an exploration task. In other words, a worker will scout ahead, or a storage worker will scout ahead. So let's go ahead and scout over here and over like this. Kind of get a feel for what's over there. We can also search that way. And over here on this side, we're going to search here, and let's say, and that's it actually. So we can't take any more tasks. We've already exhausted all 7 tasks. These are the only things we can do at one time. We can only do 7 things at a time, okay? So this is a survival game, as you know, and the important things in survival games pretty much every single time is going to be food, water, shelter, okay? Those are the fundamentals. Elementary, food, water, shelter. Get those things sorted out, and pretty much everything else becomes a lot easier, and it becomes it's a nice to have but not required, right? If you don't have food, water, shelter, people get really upset and die, okay? And or die. So let's take a look at research. We start with 50 research points, and there's 4 different trees, as well as sort of what I like to call a progression wheel, which is sort of a wheel of progress through different technologies, if you will. So we start with basically rubbish and wood, and then we can use rubble, and then we can, which is like harder, like stones and stuff. We can then get refined wood into planks. We can find scrap. We can start using things like nuts and bolts and stuff. We get plastic. We can get coal. Then we start getting metal and concrete. We start building up things, right? If we go to the different trees like growth and stuff, we can also tab through them over here. They have various different technologies that we can unlock that are relevant to that tree. So we want to start with food, water, and shelter, of course, right? Well, in the well-being section, we already start with tents. Tents are okay, all right? They, I think they hold 3 people, I guess. Shacks will hold 4, which are nice. And I kind of would like to go for shacks. They cost extra resources to build, but only rubble. And we actually start with 200 rubble. So I like the idea of getting shacks going first, okay? I am going to hold off on the medical tent, hoping that I don't need it right away. I'm hoping that the game is going to just be like, hey, it's a fresh start. We don't need to hit him with a disease right away or anything, right? I'm going to hope that does that. We're going to go for water. Okay, food, water, shelter. So that's our shelter. Here's water. We're going to want to get the water still. That's an essential. You have to get that right away. And then the forager's hut is going to be very helpful for us in getting a steady supply of food. Hopefully there are some places that we can forage nearby. In case there isn't, or in case we need more supplements for that, we're going to also get the fishing dock unlocked. It's very cheap and allows us to get risky food. The fish are risky. But we can send the risky food to a field kitchen, and then the field kitchen can use 1 worker and process that fish into safe food. So we're going to want to get that too. So that takes care of food, water, and shelter, right? We end up with 38 research points left. It's not that simple, but yeah. We also need a means to build these things, which means we need to get construction materials going. So I would like a logging hut to allow us to get more wood faster. I would like a sorting hut to allow us to get the rubbish faster. And then I would also like to go with the study. This is research that lets you research faster. Or at least research at all. This is going to allow us to take those old relics that I was just talking about and to convert them into research points. So we definitely want to study. And maybe even if we get a lot of textbooks, right now we only have 1, but if we get a lot of textbooks, I might go ahead and grab the Academy upgrade for this as well, which isn't really an upgrade so much as it is a mode. It's an operation mode. But it will let us, instead of looking at the relics, we will then read textbooks. And this lets us progress towards developing our specializations. Speaking of specializations, our clan begins with the ability to increase their specialization. Actually, what I'm going to do, before we take a look at that, I'd like to get it going, because this game has its initial first song is a song full of lyrics, and I'm going to get speech blocked hard if I try to talk over top that song. So I am going to wait until it kicks in. There it is. And then we are going to read this part and do all sorts of things, and I will probably end up butchering this because of the lyrics. We'll see. We're really doing this. We're really going to try and restart civilization here. These wetlands. I must say I'm a touch nervous. If we fail, all those people who trust us will almost certainly die out here in this harsh new world humanity has made for itself. There's a lot working against us, but one of the things that could really help us out in the long run is finding the pre-event rebirth power plant. It was top of the line just before before everything collapsed. For over 20 years, only scavengers have roamed this place, and from time to time, setting temporary camps, probably unaware of the treasures to be found here. Now, I have the most trustworthy intel that the plant is somewhere in the area. I've learned that this power plant was part of an experimental project, a joint venture between the private sector and government. That's why there's so much military remains in the area, including a nearby radio tower. Some of the scouts that were sent to this area are yet to be found. They should have a radio receiver on them though, and if we can get to the tower up and running, we might be able to contact them. On top of that, if we need more manpower, we might be able to reach other people in the area with radio transmissions. We've already seen signs that we are not alone in the area, so this is again We're gonna have to restore the radio tower, and this is gonna let us sort of, you know, Frostpunk style with the balloon and everything. We wanna go out and reach out and try to find other people. And so Chapter 1 is all about integrating other clans into our community. Okay? Okay. So, White Dove. This song is like impossible to talk over. That entire time, I took my headphones out. I just can't do it. I'm gonna get speech blocked. White Dove. We found something. It was in a cage. Barely alive, but alive. It's beautiful. I haven't seen something like this in years. Oh, I think it's a girl, but it's a bird. And, you know, birds. It's a dove. A real dove. Oh, white as the snow used to be before, well, you know. Oh, it's glorious. I know it's not going to help us. I mean, one of the explorers wanted to eat it and cook it. Not necessarily in that order. We can't do that. We should take it as a mascot? A pet? Something, I don't know. It just feels special. Okay, well, here's the thing. Idea here, right? He feels like we should free it and, you know, maybe feed it and free it. And this is what he wants us to do, okay? If we do what the clan wants us to do, it will placate them and reduce unrest, okay? At least temporarily. And if you don't meet their needs, then of course it goes back up. But temporarily, it will placate them. And so if we choose other options, it may annoy them and raise unrest. Since we start with a fairly high unrest at the moment, we're up to 35 on 100 to start with here, I think I'm going to go ahead and let it free. I have no idea whether or not this dove would have been a nuisance or not, but it is what it is. So we're going to bring that down. All right. So now we've got another one here. CME Encyclopedia entry. Coronal mass ejection. So these are encyclopedia entries, newspapers, things like that, and they all count as quote-unquote textbooks. I will read some of these, but I'm mostly just going to summarize them. I think they're going to be on the screen long enough for you to read if you want to read them, but I've got limited time in video, so I kind of want to move things along a little bit. So coronal mass injections, large eruptions of magnetized plasma from the sun's outer atmosphere or corona that propagates outward into interplanetary space. It's basically an entry that teaches people what coronal mass injections are, okay? And that's textbooks that we can use to like learn a little bit more about the world around us, right? And that's important. Okay, the other thing we want to do is scavenge, because obviously we have a huge problem with food, or at least we're going to have a huge problem with food right away. So now that I've done some like searching around trying to find things, I'm also going to have them get to work on scavenging things that are important. And yeah, we're going to need lots of building resources, food, etc. While you're doing that, I'm going to set up some constructions. So we're going to go to the build menu. And we're going to need 2 water stills, I think, pretty much right away. We're going to put one of those water stills. Can I fit it in here? Let's hit shift and rotate it. Still doesn't let me put it there. I can put it here, though. So we'll put one water still there, and then I'll put another one right down here. All right, kind of keep it relatively close to storage and just sort of over here so we can get things going, okay? 2 water stills should give us enough water to satisfy our needs. We currently have a 30 deficit on this. The next thing we need right away is a forager's hut, and probably 2 of them. Hopefully there's good sources of food nearby. This looks like a really great source of food. So I'm going to put this right next to the storage. I think that's great. And we're going to make sure that that is a high priority construction. So they should devote resources to this before anything else. I'm also going to go over to the forager's hut and see if we have any sources of food over here. Doesn't look like it. Any source of food over here? No. So aside from this, we're going to need to... We're just going to have to go with what we got. So I don't believe that's going to be enough. So we're going to also drop in some fishing docks. Now, fishing requires fish in the area, and we don't necessarily know how many fish there are, but we do know that there are fish around. And so it looks like this area here could be a good place for it. We just simply have to explore it before we can get in there. So I'm going to have to wait until we have a task available and then go and explore this area so that I know where I can place my fishing hut. Let's go ahead and do that really quick. We have more food in this area. That's fantastic. Let's keep searching out this way, search out this way. I know there's food out here. I know there's fish out here. And then we can probably place our fishing dock out here now. So there's definitely fish in this area. We'll build one there. And then I think probably one here in the center is a good idea. So we'll build one maybe like over here like this. And then we're going to want to search this area so that we know exactly what we're dealing with in that area too. As far as fish goes anyway. All right. So we've got these buildings. They're all built. Okay. And I'm like letting time run pretty quickly. I'm going to go slower now and then hopefully not have to pause very much. But I have a tendency to pause quite often. So it is what it is. There's a yacht wreck here. We can go after that. I'm going to go ahead and start building some other things here. And one of the things I do want to build is the shacks. I want to give people places to live. Now on this side, I think it was this side, they have a renovated house. I saw this. And then the renovated house is just a place that we found already that 5 people are able to live in. So on this side, these workers, there are enough. There's already 5 housing. So for the shack, I can go something like, we want them to work relatively close to where they, live relatively close to where they work. So I'll place 2 here. And I'm also going to place 2, let's say, nearby. I don't want to go super close. Let's go here. So 2 more right there. And then I'll also place another 2 shacks, maybe right here. That should give people homes that are relatively close to where they live. I hope that that's actually enough. We'll see. Let's go ahead and examine that. Explore that and explore that. And then let's grab some more building materials there and over here. And then on this side, looks like we got some more food we could get there and some more building stuff there. Yeah, we probably want to scavenge some of this if we can. Yes, I think. Just can't do it quite yet. Okay, so one last thing we can do here, and then I'm going to look at other things, is we can get the sorting hut. There are big piles of rubbish which have to be worked with the sorting hut, and then there's these tiny little ones which we can just go ahead and scavenge. The scavenging is done by our logistics people in the storage, but if you want dedicated workers that can constantly scavenge things, you need to use these. I'm going to put this one here so we can get that stuff for now. But as we build more structures, we're going to run out of workers. And in fact, we're already there. We're already at the point where we're going to lose workers or run out of workers because we have 0 idle at the moment. So when we build new things, we are not going to have enough people to work them. So we're going to have to start taking people out of small storage and making sure that they work in the new buildings when that happens. Okay? So I have another event here. It says an article in a business magazine. An excerpt from a business magazine. While Kanto Corporation's last year results was impressive, there are doubts concerning CEO Jessica Hart's performance. While the corporation already has a reputation for sweeping dirt under the rug, some things simply cannot be covered up. Hart's management style, italicized, I think that's what's relevant here, has been deeply criticized by some members of upper management, who incidentally are now leaving the company for being extremely goal-oriented and having no regard for the well-being of employees. There are those who simply call them bad practices, while others go as far as to call them inhuman. It's unclear what Kanto Corporation Central Management is going to do. The division under Hart's management has been exceeding targets and banking huge profits year after year. But is it all worth the employees' physical and mental health? So this is about like sort of ethics, right? And it might be teaching us ethics, which again contributes towards our experience, right? So if I take a look at my clan's experience over here, with specializations, you can see that we've already unlocked one additional one. We actually start with the ability to do this. And we want to look at this as an opportunity to expand our capabilities in very specific ways. There are 5 specializations in the game. There's discipline, for which we already have more experience in. That's just one of our perks. So we're already level 2. Discipline is be able to concentrate and work in a systematic, orderly way, right? You can work more efficiency in jobs like scrap, cutting wood, rubble and brickyards, etc., right? We can look at erudition. This is knowledge obtained through study and research. This is pretty good. Certain jobs that require us to have that. Certain events might require us to be well-read and well-studied. So that kind of stuff might prove useful for us as we go. And this is a faction-wide thing. As far as I'm aware, this is a clan-wide thing. So everyone in that clan would have this trait. We have expression, add personality and flair to your work. This is apparently going to add for food production, like safe, in other words, getting safe food in kitchens and bakeries. Sounds good, but there's one that's even more useful to us now, and that is going to be fortitude. And we're going to go for fortitude first. This is physical strength, stamina, and endurance. Fortitude allows your people to work more efficiently in jobs like collecting fish or collecting rubbish, etc. So we're going to be able to catch more fish, and we're going to be able to extract more rubbish and sorting stations for scrap, etc. later on. There's also precision, accuracy, and thoroughness in work. And we're going to be able to do things like soybeans, farms, harvesting soybeans, recycling, etc. We're going to go with fortitude first because there's so many jobs initially that have this requirement for fully using those buildings. And so we're going to use those. I probably would go for expression next, although maybe not for this particular clan. If we can get another clan, maybe I'll do it for them. But you generally want to specialize. You don't want to spread out these clans because you're going to eventually get to the point where you need higher levels, and if you've been spreading everyone out, you're not going to achieve those levels. All right, so going along that note, the forager's hut has 2 regular workers, and it's able to get 12.5 per day. However, if I was to go to my research here and go to, I think it's growth, not growth, it's survival, yeah, forager's house. If we were to upgrade to the forager's house instead, now we could do 21.7 per day if we fully utilize this building. However, fully utilizing this building not only requires 2 workers, but also requires an additional worker that has the fortitude trait. So you need to be filled by a worker in a clan with fortitude. Otherwise, you can't work this. We're going to go ahead and develop that because the forager's house would be more productive if we did so. All right. At that point, we can now upgrade the forager's house, provided we have the resources to do it. At the moment, we lack the scrap, but hopefully we get that soon. So I'm going to keep going like that, scavenge there, explore there. I think it's important to keep exploring as much as possible because you never know what you're going to find, especially the good fishing spots and stuff. It's a good thing to get. But sometimes you get points of interest and stuff that you really want to explore. And so I do like to keep people busy. I don't like to see this... like 0 out of 7. I don't like to see that button at 0 out of 7. The one other thing we could do to keep people busy as well is to get our study up, because I haven't built that yet. And so if I want to go to growth, the study is how we will take the relics and the textbooks and we'll translate that into research points. So we want to get that going too. And it doesn't need to be close to storages or anything. And so I'm going to place this right over here. This, of course, requires additional rubbish. Scrap, whatever. So we're going to need to keep scavenging as much as we can, finding new sources so that we can scavenge them. Like this right here is a pretty good spot if we can get to that too. So let's accelerate time a bit. Make sure they're going after stuff like that. Make sure they're going after like that stuff there, that stuff there. Yep, we want them to gather as much as we can in these areas so that they can get us as much scrap as possible. And it looks like we can now upgrade the forager's house. To do that, make that the top priority for everybody. And with the forager's house upgraded, I'm hoping to see our food situation turn around. So now we can get somebody with fortitude as well as one additional worker here. I can add another one, but I don't have a spare one. So let's take it out of here. Probably take it out of here instead. There's less people. Like there's less stuff going on over here. So I'm going to take it out of here instead. And we're going to put you in this building. One in this building, and the other one is going to go to the study when it's ready. So with 3 people in this building, we now currently have just a -9 per day. That's no good. We still have a negative per day. So we want to take a look at our fishing. We're doing okay on fishing. It probably could have been placed a little bit better, but I think we're doing okay on fishing. We have another fishing dock over here. We're able to get some good fish. And so to get the remainder of this 9 per day that we're short, we're going to want to build one of these field kitchens. And I can place the field kitchen, I think, probably somewhere over here. Let's place it like here. I mean, it's kind of centrally with all these fish, so maybe I'll just put it in the middle. You know what, whatever. This right here is fine. We're going to build this field kitchen and get people to work there. This is going to take the fish, which is unsafe food. People can still eat this, but it's not safe. And we can get them to instead work in turning this fish into more food. And if we can do that successfully, we could probably get this number to go up. It says we have a negative 11 per day now. Oh, that's on fish. Sorry. This is still 6 per day. I think this improves because, like, right now we're currently making 13.5 and we were only down by 7. So I'm not sure how that math works. But I think what's happening here is that we lack, because we lack the food in stock, we're consuming 11 extra fish. And because of that, we're not able to work the kitchen as well. Just in case that's not the case, real quick, I gotta go and look more places to forage. I don't have anything left to forage, so we still need to look at field kitchens, and honestly another fishing dock is kind of required at this point, isn't it? There is some fish over here, so let's we'll go ahead and build the fishery here and then also explore this area so we can tell where the fish are. Yep, we want to be able to, oh, here we go. Hazardous bets. Eva Coldwind says, this may sound silly, I know, but you see, I'm a little worried that we have a gambling plague in the settlement. There's nothing really going on lately. There's a lot going on lately, lady. And out of boredom, people have started betting on stupid things, whether it will rain, how many seagulls they will count on the shore, who will find the biggest mushroom. And for now, it's fun, but I think they're starting to take it more and more seriously. I've already heard the first arguments. Perhaps you could intervene before things get unpleasant. So obviously our clan would like to forbid betting. This is not part of order, right? But again, you don't have to choose this one just because your clan wants it, because you're eventually going to have more than one clan. So don't think of this as your clan. Think of this as the only clan in your settlement. And you're still able to do what you want. And eventually we'll have 2, 3, 4, however many clans, and you won't be able to please everyone. But I think I'm actually going to try this one. Let them bet, but the loser is to give a part of the gains to the common vault. Isn't this more like the winner? I guess the resources are coming from the loser, but I feel like this sentence would be better with the winner, but it's fine. I think I'm going to do this because it might get us at least some temporary... a temporary boost in food would be nice, but I don't know what kinds of stuff they have. I'm going to do this instead. Now, this is not what our clan wanted us to do, and so that's going to make them upset. It's a temporary thing, so unrest is going to go up temporarily, and then it will come back down over time. But we end up gaining 45 rubbish and 45 safe food, which I think will buy us a little bit of time here. It's a pretty good thing, I guess, to get us some time there. I want to search the area. I'm looking for more fish. If I can get more fish... that would be swell. We have some fish here, but not a lot of fish. Let's go ahead and have, I think, one person is going to work here. And the other person, I think, needs to work in another kitchen. In another field kitchen, I think, is going to be necessary. We're going to place another field kitchen. Let's put it... I think I'll put it right over here by the water still. It's needed, right? It's needed. Now, some people work further away than they'd like from their workplace. And I have really no idea how to control that. So for example, can I click this building and say, hey, by the way, the person who lives in the renovated house, can you like not work here? And I don't think there's a way for me to tell them not to work here. I think the only way to do this is to provide vacant housing nearby so that they can move to it. That might be the only way to do it. And so I am going to add another shack over to this side, like this, and hope that they decide to move to this side of this area. We'll see how that goes. Let's search the old radio tower. We obviously need to go and get that too. And because we now have somebody in the study, we're able to use our relics to gain, I guess now we're gaining 5 research per day. We're up to 15. Let's take a look at this. And there's some things we could do. Mushroom Picker's Hut. That's the new building. There's a sorting lodge, which requires like an upgrade to this sorting hut, but it lets us get rubble. I think the academy might be a good way to spend at least 3 of our points at the moment. That way we can study the text. And then there's Scholar's Debate. And this is when you don't have any relics or texts, you can switch it to Scholar's Debate, And this will provide you a stable but slow production of research by having people talk about ideas and just essentially this is what people do, right? They talk to each other about concepts and ideas and ways of life and sort of how things should be, or maybe they talk to each other about how certain things work. And through that discussion, they gain a mutual understanding or a better understanding over that thing. It takes a long time, but you gain more research. And I think that's a good way to spend 5 of these points, because eventually we're going to get through these things. And once we get through these things, this building is basically be sitting there doing nothing until we find a relic. And I would like the opportunity to advance scientifically while we're waiting for that. There's 9 points, and I want to get to planks, because we'll need that for certain building upgrades soon, but it is going to take a bit more time to research that and get going with that initially. It looks like we still have 1 homeless person. That's what this house is for. This house is all about that, getting that person that's homeless out of that status, all right? Want to help them out, so we're going to do the best we can there. And research there. I feel like I've already searched these areas, but like sometimes, man, like I've never searched this before. Are you sure? It's like right here next to me. So I just feel like that's a little weird. Maybe it just switches to that mode when there's nothing to grab in an area. Maybe that's how that works. I feel like there's no point in searching where you like were already working, you know? So probably shouldn't do that anymore, but I don't know if there's a benefit to it. Maybe we discover something that we missed. No idea. Let's find out. I mean, obviously we haven't searched the ruined house yet, so we can do that, but I don't think we really learned anything per se on this. We can't scavenge forever. We're not savages. Let's grow our own food or do something to make this process much more sustainable. Well, I agree. I totally agree we should. And that's what I've been trying to work on anyway with fishing and everything. Survival. No, I really want to save and get the wood cutting station, but I have to have planks first. So I think we need to save our research to 25 so that we can unlock planks. And that's going to be, I think overall, that's going to benefit us a lot to do that. If there's any other food sources nearby, I definitely need to look at that too. So if I take a look at my forager's house, are there any other sources of food nearby? And there just doesn't seem to be any place where I can get these little icons right here. And it looks like we're kind of running low on this too. So we might be scavenging that faster than it's growing, right? Which is a problem. So we probably need to rely more on fish. And so getting another person to work in fish, I think is going to happen. So fish is going up at 6 per day. And we actually have a 0 on food. Wow, really? Even with the field kitchen working, huh? Yikes. This sucks. Okay, we also need to start getting logging and stuff going too. There's a lot of wood around here that I've been scavenging, so before I need this building, but 780, 600, 900, 1,000 over here somewhere. I saw it tick to. I'm not sure where that was. 940, 900, 900, 960. Thought I saw it go to 1,000, but might just be in my imagination. This district seems pretty small. Like there's not a lot going on in here, you know? So I guess we'll go with the 960 unless I can find that 1,000 again, but yeah, see, it totally goes to 1,000 at some point. I just don't know where it is. Right there. 1,020. That's where we want to build this. 1,020 right there. So that's going to be, you know, we could take all these and start having a more automated way of getting wood as we go. So we have, looks like they've moved into this hut, so that's good. So we have a vacant spot here. There is actual housing available for another person now. So we don't need to build any more shacks. We're good on that. Now we just need to make sure that we have enough people cutting wood. So there we go. That'll provide wood for us. So now we're positive on water, positive on risky food, but not positive on safe food. Still at 11 deficit on safe food. I really didn't think I needed this many field kitchens, but I clearly do. So another food kitchen is going in, and I think we'll put it Well, you kind of want it to be nearby, right? Like, we have a fish. We're fishing over here, right? Like, where's the rest of the fishing? Fishing is here. This is a large rubbish pile. I thought there was a fishery over here. Where is it? Fishing dock. Yeah, I feel like... Okay, there's a spot we could fish over here if we research this. If we can search this out, there's another spot to fish over here. Let's just kind of branch ourselves out here really quick. See if we can't uncover what's going on over in this area. I want to see where those fish are. If this is deep water, then we're kind of screwed, but we gotta look at it, right? And then we have the radio tower, which can be reclaimed. We really need to do that. We have nowhere near enough rubbish to do that, though. We'll eventually have wood. That'll be easy. The rubble is pretty easy. But the scrap, because we're constantly building things, the scrap has been a little bit harder to keep around and harder to come by. So we'll probably need to just sort of chill for a little bit. There's a lot of food right there. That's good. Probably need to chill chill for a little bit, unless we are, building something that can get us more scrap. Like, for example, building the sorting hut, which I could put right here. And there's a lot more scrap there now. Holy crap. Look at all this scrap. There's already this one, so that's working that piece, right? Water still. This fishing dock. We're not getting any of the scrap. All right, we need to get this scrap too. So sorting hut. We'll start it over here. Yeah, we'll start one right here. And we want to prioritize that because this is something that enables us to get on more scrap. So there's 600 scrap right there to grab. Our food is disgusting. People will get upset soon. Yeah, so they're still eating the fish and stuff. We're not able to provide enough safe food. Although it says when this building is working, it looked like it said we were only losing one per day, but that's clearly not the case. So I need to do better with that. I think just having another field kitchen is going to be necessary. Which means we're going to be using more fish. And so we're going to need another fishing dock, right? So like we're not able to really sustain the food quite as fast as I would like. We definitely want to work this over here. If we can get access to this fishing over here, that would be great. Where is... Man, like you can't search far enough out, you know? Those few sticks and waxed fabric stitched together can make a huge difference in the quality of someone's life. If we can, let's build shelter for everyone. I already did, though. I already gave you shelter. Let's go ahead and unlock planks. And what planks is going to do for us, which we won't be able to work it yet, but what planks are going to do for us... the hacksaw would be nice. It's going to allow us to get to the kitchen. And this is way more efficient than working with like multiple field kitchens. The field kitchen, I can't say it's way more efficient. That's probably not the right word. But I think for the space that it occupies as a workplace, it's more efficient. So what I mean by that is 2 field kitchens obviously take a lot of take the space of 2 field kitchens, and it also has 2 workers. It creates 13.5, which means 2 of them is 27. Well, this kitchen also takes 2 workers, occupies the space of a single kitchen, so that's more space efficient, plus those 2 workers produce 35.5. So it is more efficient to have this, but unfortunately, you have to have planks unlocked. You need to build it with planks, because it takes 10 to make it, and you have to have a worker with the expression specialization, which is something that our clan does not have. We would need to get this one in order to work that building. So we're not going to be able to do that. We're just going to have to rely on additional field kitchens all the time. That's just what we're going to have to do. So additional field kitchens, that is our destiny. Our destiny is to have more field kitchens, okay? The heap is full. Let's take people out of there. We don't need any more logs. We want you working the sorting hut instead. Forager says heap is full, so I'm not sure what that means. Heap is full. Heap full. I mean, there's just no way we're full on this. I mean, look, it's like maybe the heap being full means like the scrap storage is full. Individual scrap storage maybe is full. But this just increases global stock capacity. Yeah, global stock of all resources in the settlement, accounting everything that's brought into all storage buildings. So it's like Anno, where the warehouses are all connected, everything. So I'm not sure how the heap would be full for, you know, foraging food when we really need food and we have none in storage. That seems a bit odd. You know? Stock capacity is, I would say, nowhere near full. That's a little bit weird. Not sure what's going on. The only thing I can think of here is, it's probably this, right? There's 30 out of 30 in storage here, and it just hasn't been brought to storage because we don't have enough logistics people. I bet that's probably what it is. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Okay. I figured it out eventually, okay? See who comments that. Just like trying to teach me how to do it. I know. Now, there's like certain things, like I said, there's like, you know, when you play games when you're playing them blind, this is what happens. You can finally reach out here. I want to start fishing this. Fishing dock. Don't know how many fish are over there. That's the problem. I just can't get there. I want to get over there. Ooh, can I get over here? No, you just can't. You can't build close enough to get these fish. Right? We need to get over there and get those fish. Yeah, task limit reached. Let's search the boat wreck. That doesn't really give us food, but it does give us some more stuff that we can study for research later. I need more people on this. This one's stressed out too. Field kitchens are trying to work as best as they can. I could temporarily take people out of research and put them in this field kitchen. I think that would probably be okay. The only issue is, like, you're still not going to have enough fish. Like, another field kitchen is fine, but we're not going to have enough fish. You got to add more fish if we're going to process more fish. So maybe if I place it here, it'll be enough to... Maybe it'll be enough that we don't know what kind of fish those are, but we can still work it even though we don't know how many there is. I'm not sure how that works. We'll see. We got the research almost. Let's speed up time really quick. They don't work at night, right? So then come back in, and now that they've researched it, I will place you... See, we still don't have risky food. People are still eating it, right? That's the thing. It's like you're still eating it directly instead of eating the good stuff, right? So maybe if I put them in the good, if I give them the good stuff, perhaps they'll eat that instead, right? So this is what I want to see. Green numbers everywhere. With this third kitchen up and running, we have, you know, positive balance on this and a positive balance on this. I need safe food to be rising. And at the moment it is. It looks like we've solved the problem by adding that extra field kitchen, because now people stop eating this, and so we should see a positive balance, because you end up basically being able to make more safe meals. You can make more safe food than the fish, so it's more than 1-to-1. So people either eat this or I thought it was more than 1-to-1. But this is starting to look like... I thought it was... Isn't it more than 1-to-1? For the field kitchen. Yeah, it's 8-to-9. Yeah. So both of these numbers can rise as long as people are eating this instead of this. So now we're good. Now we've got a positive balance on food, water, good shelter. Everything's in place. We can finally start seeing stability. And we can reclaim the radio tower now. We have the resources to do so, so let's go ahead and do that. That was a bit of a struggle, but I got there. Took a bit, but I got there. All right. I can maybe... it's only 5 a day. Our positive balance isn't that high. Our rubbish balance is pretty high. We could take somebody off of that and add them to storage. Let them move along. I Actually, let's take both of you off of this temporarily and put you back on wood so we can gather more of that because we need more. Okay, let's take a look at the radio tower now. We can set expeditions or we can simply go with the transmission, and this will give us a place of a place of interest that we can actually send an expedition to. So we'll go ahead and run that. It will cost us a radio, and right away it gives us a place over here. Live transmission. Huzzah! The radio tower is up and running again. I knew it. Turns out it was built by a company owned by Ivo Garza, the head honcho behind the Rebirth program. He used to be a big shot before the event. Also famously a very hard man who liked his drink. Let's not delve into the past too much. Stay focused on the future. Using the radio tower will bring us even closer to it. We get 11 research as a reward for this. That's really good. And it allows us to move on to the next stage, which is pathfinding. There was a group of scouts I sent to the area some time ago to confirm if the Rebirth power plant was really here. They've settled here, finding shelter in a former factory site. We were able to get a hold of them using the radio tower. They want to join our community even though they don't know you or your people. I tried to tell them it wasn't going to be very impressive, but they seemed very excited to have some new people to talk to. So now we need to get over here and get these guys and bring them back to our settlement. Fairly easy thing to do. We're going to prepare a new expedition. Now, in order to do this, you need idle workers, and you need 3 of them. So we're going to have to take 3 people from the camp somewhere. We have to pick a place, pick something that's maybe not super vital. I'll pull 1 person off of rubbish. Let's pull 1 person. Need something that's not super vital. I think I'll put 1 person off of this small storage, and that's it. And then the last person, I'll take you from. I'd like to go to that fishing dock, but I can't do it. I'll just take you from this rubbish hut. So now we're not gaining any rubbish, but temporarily. Start a new expedition. We get these 3 people that we had that are idle, and we can send them rations for a certain number of days. So at the moment, we have 3 days worth of rations. If we want to send them with like 7 or 8 days, we can do that. It just obviously instantly takes that away from our pool. Let's go for 8 days and see what happens here. So we need to say, where's the expedition going to? And they're going to go over to, I think, here. Okay? Right next to this place. They actually will get a boat. And they'll a little boat that will allow them to go all the way over here and settle over there. Okay? So that's the expedition that will take place now. In the meantime, we are keeping positive on our food and water. And that is the only thing that matters right now, is positivity on food and water, okay? Always positivity on food and water. Let's go ahead and search that area, that area. Is there any more rubbish we could maybe scavenge? Yeah. Scavenge there, and some food that's over here. That's very good. And okay, that's a good mix. I like that too. All right. As we see, these guys are going to walk over and settle a camp right here. Now that they're here, we have sort of a temporary little camp that we can do some things in this local area too. For example, we could scavenge anything or search the area, which I will tell them to do right now. Just so they know their surroundings a little bit. We can see things around us a little bit, okay? We can search our area some more over here, maybe over there. Let's get a better feel for things. We can scavenge some rubbish if we see it. We got some other stuff over here we can get. And we can also, of course, do the thing that's most important, which is searching for people here in this flooded factory. Now, when we find these people, it's possible that our rations will be at risk. Okay, it can be adapted to reclaim flooded factory. The risk factors for searching for people looks like it's this. Soybeans can be ground into powder and to make bread or feed for insect farms. Yeah, insect farms, right. Lockpicks are cool. People living in the ruins, potentially they can join your settlement. Yeah, so we're going to search for people. And then I also want to go ahead and search this interesting place here. This is an old industrial hall. If we search it with ropes, maybe that's better. I'm not entirely sure how to read this. Used to open locked places. Develop ropes. Manufacturing operation mode. Okay, hold on. Develop ropes manufacturing operation mode in plastic recycling facility to produce it. Okay. Moderate disease fact risks. We're gonna do this too. I don't exactly know how to read these just yet, but it looks like there's at least some risk to exploring, which makes sense. New clan discovered. Bones and roots. The soil may have been flooded, but our roots still grow where the bones of our forefathers lie. We must never forget them. This quote from the leader of Bones and Roots pretty much sums up the idea behind the tribe. They are extremely connected to their place of origin and still cannot accept that it is now impossible to return to their lands. The mythologized version of Paradise Lost binds them together more than their aversion to anything new. For the members of Bones and Roots, all that is good lies in the past, and the future is sure to bring nothing more than squalor, filth, and disease. The problems arising from living in the wetlands don't help to disenchant the vision of the future. Even if they did, it's not clear whether Bones and Roots would be able to truly see it. So I don't think these guys are very compatible with us, you know? There are people living here. They have lived here for a few months now, tough ones. Yet now some of them, tired of this place, would like to join us. In exchange for being accepted into our settlement, they offer valuable medicines. If I accept them, like, I think they have very different ideologies, so this might create some conflict, but I'm going to try. So we're going to accept them. Now, upon accepting them, we have now 15 out of 25 travelers, it says, and some of these guys are in a different clan, all right? Some of these guys are a different tribe, different clan. But we also now have 0 days of rations, right? Because we initially sent these guys with 8 days of rations for 3 people. Now we have 15. That's 0, all right? So now it becomes even more important to scavenge places that have rations. Otherwise, people might starve. Or what we could do, which is probably a better thing to do, is we can tell them to return home right now. And so let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to tell them to return home. And by doing so, we can hopefully extend a little bit more. We can hopefully bring them back, right? And then send a new expedition with new rations that's a little bit more reasonable for 3 people. Friends in the most troublesome times. A long-lost World Health Organization conference excerpt regarding the possibility of eating domestic animals. In these troublesome times, we, as the leading species of this planet, have to turn to you, our dearest friends, companions throughout the millennia, for the ultimate sacrifice to keep us all and our potential offspring alive and well. This decision is not taken lightheartedly, but it is the only choice we can make. As a countermeasure against famine, we have prepared a detailed document regarding preparation of food out of domesticated animals. As of 2042, it is the recommendation of the World Health Organization to fight famine and hunger by preparing meals containing meat acquired from domestic animals such as cats, dogs, and multiple species of birds. The detailed list can be found on the World Health Organization website. Yikes. Okay, let's take a look really quick. We now have 2 leaders, okay? And we can have also 2 clan profiles. So we want to see things that they like. Town halls. They don't like town halls. So no town halls for these guys. Art galleries. Hey, they have that in common. That's nice. And gambling dens. This clan doesn't approve of gambling dens. Living in a district with this kind of recreation activities will increase their unrest. Okay. We have some things in common, I guess. This clan will work night shifts with 50% lesser unrest penalty. Not bad. Trying to see what they... Old World Unity, there it is. So they fall over here on the spectrum, okay? And where we fall is over here. So we have some things in common as sort of unity, right? So we've got that in common. We might work out okay. We would not do well with Old World Liberty. We wouldn't do well with those. But I think we have enough in common here to maybe overcome our differences because of that unity, because we share unity. So maybe this will be okay. Now, at the moment, if we take a look at clan relations, we can see that we are neutral to them, and we have very rare contact with them. So at the moment, we are losing relationship with them over time because we're not they're not integrated in our society very well yet. Over here, likewise, it's the same thing, and these are mutual stats. So in order to get their population to not be losing relations all the time, what we really want to do, I think this camp is gone, right? Yeah, did we bring them back in? I think we brought them back in yet, didn't we? Yeah, we did. They're already here. So there's 15 people, 45 of which are idle. So how we get them integrated... well, we need them to come back. Did they not come back yet? Oh, here they are. Okay. So they need to come back before we can integrate them. So they're all on their way back. Okay, now we are going to start losing food again and water because we have more people, right? So we need to do something about that. Temporarily, I'm going to tell them to search the water tower. That's going to give us 120 food right away. And we need to prepare more food and to do that. So we want to get, I think, more field kitchens. I'll get another field kitchen set up probably over here. Let's do let's do at least one more over here. This is gonna be close to the fishing dock, and then we're gonna get these guys to work at the fishing dock too. So wherever they are, did they get in here? Yes. Expedition has returned safely. They don't bring any food with us. Okay, they're not bringing any food with them. They also are bringing water. That's good. They have rubbish. They have rubble, and they've also brought some seeds. But however, one of them has a cough, and they've started an epidemic. So we need to do something about that right away. Now we gained 10 research for this, and that's good. But again, we need to do something about this. Contagion. I don't mean to alarm you, but people are coming down with an abdominal pain and vomiting. It seems to be contagious. Started after people ate some dead animals that were just laying around in the sun, you think? However, people are blaming the power plant for the poisoning of the water. Well, I consider myself a scientist, and I can tell you that is not the case. It's a cold fusion reactor, perfectly safe. We need to get this under control as quickly as possible. So now the task is to survive the pandemic. So bringing people in has unforeseen consequences. We have 18 idle people. We can start by getting them working in places that are going to gather food. I'm also going to increase our logistics capabilities. And notice how as I add more people, it is adding them from the other clan. This is where the magic happens with relations. People are working together. You can separate them in various different buildings, but if you have them work together on certain things, that will help, right? In integrating them into your society a little bit more. So we take the idle people, we have them work with our people, and that is hopefully going to make everything better for us. Let's also get more people working on wood collection, and some scrap collection over here would be nice too. Okay, very few resources in the area are left. Yeah, because we're working them too quickly. Now we're going to have a food issue. We're going to have a food problem. And like Forager House just has no other food in the area. So we've got to reach out and start looking at other ways to get food. And it might be worth going to like over here, for example, where there's a ruined parking. There's some extra stuff here. There's electronic chips. There's some extra food we can process. Maybe. I don't know. We have to figure it out. Our current deficit is 27.9 a day. That's a problem. Field kitchen would be nice to have this up and running. So let's hope we can get that. We are working the logging camp, but of course that is only during the day, not during the night. So speed this up a little bit here. As far as research goes, I'm thinking we upgrade our kitchens because we can, but we also need to create planks in order to build that. So we have to look at that too. I think getting a fishing wharf would be a good thing too, but we need fortitude to work it. So let's make sure we get that. And that's 15. And then the next thing in growth, the wood cutting station. That's what we want. Okay. So that gives us everything we need to get the planks that we need to make this. So we're going to grab the growth. We want the wood cutting station. We have a lot of wood coming in over here. So why don't we just cut this in the same place? All right. And then for the fishing, we want to increase that. So we're going to look to upgrade these to fishing wharfs. Okay, and that's going to allow us to get more fish with the same buildings. And then also we want to upgrade some of our kitchens as well. And I think that will help us with our food problem, but we are running out of time to fix that. Okay. So that's it. That's this game so far. I hope you guys have enjoyed the first episode here. It's been an hour, but I've got to get this uploaded and see what you guys think of it. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Be sure to like the video to help it grow. And again, I just want to give a nice big shout out here to VileMonarch and Ravenscourt for sending me out the key and for sponsoring this video. I appreciate that support. I hope your sales are good. All right. Take it easy. We'll see ya. Bye-bye.